So today I'm going to take you through a full body workout, and there's going to be 3 different levels. So level 1 is going to be low energy to low spoons. Level 2 is going to be a medium energy or medium spoons, and level 3 will be a good energy or a good spoons day. Just keep in mind, whatever level you choose today, is that you're not pushing through any pain. None of this should hurt. So if it hurts, please stop. Do not push through it. And if you have a heart rate monitor as well, whatever level you choose, I want you to stay in your zone 2 heart rate zone. If you don't know what that is, go back a few videos, and I do talk more in detail how to find your own level 2 or your zone 2 heart rate zone. So let's get going. Okay, so to start level 1, we're going to start with a body weight split squat. So I want you to make sure that when you're doing these, that you have some type of bolster or pillow to give you some tactile feedback on the depth that you're going into your lunge. So to set up into the lunge, I want you just to come down on the floor in this position here. So I get asked all the time, like, how do you know if you're in that right position for your lunge? Is your back foot too far back or too close? Same with the front foot. Is it too far away or not close enough? So the best way to set up is to just come down like this and make sure that your front leg is at a 90 degree and your back leg is also at a 90 degree. So making sure this ankle is directly underneath this knee and that this back knee is directly underneath your hip. That way you know that you're set up in a good position. And then from here, you can come on up. So this will be your starting position. And what I want you to do with your pelvis is try to select a posterior tuck. So you're trying to tuck that pelvis backwards. So if you have it in an anterior tilt here, you're going to get some jamming in your lower back. So let's try to keep that in a posterior tilt. And then when you're going down into your split squat, you're not trying to lean forward. You're trying to go straight down, just tapping that pillow and then right back up. And you have 50% of your weight in your front foot and 50% of your weight in your back foot. So it's even weight through both feet. So in this level 1 here, you can do about 5 repetitions per leg and then switching sides. All right, so moving on to a core exercise. You're going to come down into quadruped, so on all fours. You're going to stack your knees directly underneath those hips. Hands directly underneath those shoulders. Make sure they're not too far out. Same with your knees, not too close or not too far back, but directly stacked. We're going to make sure our pelvis is also in a good position, so we're not in an anterior tilt here. And you're not too much in a posterior tuck like this, but in that nice neutral. And then from here, you're going to start out by extending one arm out, coming back and switching. And what you're trying to avoid is shifting your weight. So don't shift that weight. As you extend an arm out, you're bracing your tummy and bracing that belly to stop any shifting from happening. If that feels good, you can add a leg. So you can go opposite leg, opposite arm, and then come back in. Switching sides. Just make sure as you extend your leg that your back doesn't start to arch. So we don't want to see this. Keep that nice and straight, drawing that belly button into your spine. Nice active core. And doing about 10 per side, so a total of 20. All right, now we're going to move into your calves, or your gastrocnemius, which is the back side of your leg here. So it's important to have those muscles nice and strong as well. It's going to really help keep your ankles nice and strong, help with walking. So with your feet directly underneath your hips, keeping them right at 12 o'clock, we're going to Come on up onto those tippy toes as high as you can, and then controlling it right back down. So up on those tippy toes, back down. What I don't want to see is you using that momentum when you land. So what that would look like is coming up, and then as you come down, you rock into your heels and your toes lift. Try to avoid that. I want your body and your calf muscle to actually stop that movement, which requires more activation. So coming up onto those tippy toes, coming down, keeping the weight in the balls of your toes, and then coming back up again. So these are also nice, slow, controlled movements. You're not just coming in and just doing as many as you can, right? It's about the quality of the movement versus the quantity of the movement. It's important to have proper time under tension as well. So nice and slow is the way to go. It'll also give you more feedback and more time to listen to your body to see how it feels. So you can do on level 1 here anywhere from 10 to 20 of those, and then move on. All right, so next we're going to go into a plank push-up. So this is a modified version. You're going to be on your knees and I'm using my step-up box here. You can use the edge of your couch, coffee table, anything about that, just over a foot height should be about good for you. So coming down on the knees, you're going to tuck that pelvis again into that posterior tuck, so tucking it back, keeping that back as flat as you can, and then you're going to come down and bring your forearms onto that bench or couch, whatever it is that you're using. So try not to have your bum too high, tuck it into that posterior tuck and keeping that back nice and flat. And then what you're going to do here is push up with your right hand, go down on your right elbow. Push up with your left hand, go down on your left elbow. So that's the pattern. So it's right, right, left, left. What you're trying to avoid is over-rotating as you come up or go down. You're trying to keep that core nice and tight, nice and straight, bracing that belly button in towards your spine, doing your best to keep that back as flat as you can. And doing 5 repetitions per arm, so 10 total, is good. So to start off level 2, we're going to go into a split squat. So coming down onto the floor in this position here. So we are going to have this ankle lined up directly under this knee and bring this knee directly under this hip. So you have a 90-degree angle with this leg and a 90-degree angle with your front leg. That way you know you're set up in the proper position. And from here, come on up. And we're on our back tippy toes. And we have 50% weight in the front foot and 50% weight in the back foot. You're tucking that pelvis into a posterior tilt and you're going straight down. This knee does not have to touch the floor, but you're trying to find what range of motion can you control all the way down. So for level 2 here, you can do about 8 to 10 reps per leg. And then switching sides. All right, so moving on to our core exercise, coming down into quadruped, having your knees directly underneath your hips, your hands directly underneath those shoulders. And what you're going to do here is you're going to tuck your toes. You're going to externally rotate those elbow pits forward. So you're going to ground those hands into the floor and then twist the elbows so that the elbow pit faces this way here. That's going to help you stabilize and stay strong through that shoulder. So from here, keep that pelvis in a nice posterior tuck, so nice flat back. You're going to lift your knees up off the floor, Hold 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, come back down. Take a breath, back up again. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, back down. If 2 seconds feels too easy, go ahead and try to hold it longer. So you can go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and relax. And see if you can do that about 5 to 10 times, depending on how it feels for you, and then you can carry on. So we're going to get into some calf raises here. So for level 2, just to make the calf raises a little bit harder, I want you to grab a release ball. If you don't have a release ball, that's fine. You can do the same as level 1 without the ball. The ball is just going to add a little bit more tension. So what you're going to do here is you're going to put the ball just between your heels. And then what you're going to do here is squeeze the ball. You're putting some tension there. And then coming up onto those tippy toes and then back down. So same thing here, no rocking. You're coming down under control, keeping the weight in the toes of those feet and not allowing yourself to rock back into the heels and lift the toes. You want to avoid that. So coming up and down. I'll show you from the side. So squeezing the ball between the heels, activate, coming up on the balls of your toes, nice and controlled, coming back down, keeping the weight in the balls of the foot, and back up. You're also going to have to brace your tummy here a little bit as well for balance. If you need to hold on to a wall, by all means do, but you're also wanting to work on your balance here a little bit as well. Okay, so keeping that tension on the ball. You can do about 10 to 20 repetitions of those. Okay, so carrying on to our plank push-ups. You're going to come down onto your knees, and we're going to start this exercise on your forearms. So you're going to come into a little of a plank position. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to come up on your left hand and then go down on your left forearm. And then come up on your your right hand and then go down on your right forearm. So that's the pattern. Left, left, right, right. You're trying to keep that pelvis tucked back. Drawing that belly button into your spine. Doing your best to avoid any rotation. Good. And again, here you can do 5 per arm and 10 total. Awesome. So to start off level 3, we're going to go into our split squat stance. Come down onto the floor, get set up. 90 degree here, 90 degree here. Tucking those back toes. Stand up. Bring that pelvis into a posterior tilt. We're going to come down into your split squat. And then to make it a little bit harder for level 3, you're going to come together. Bring it back. Reset. Down, up, feet together, back. Really working on keeping that pelvis in that posterior tilt, so tucking it back. Good. And you can do 10 per leg and carry on. All right, so moving along to our core exercise, we're going to come down into quadruped. You're going to have your knees stacked directly underneath your hips, and you're going to have your hands directly underneath your shoulders. You're going to tuck those toes, and you're going to turn your elbow pits forward. So you're going to externally rotate those forearms to face in front of you. That's going to help set those shoulders, be nice and strong and stabilized through there. And then what you're going to do now is tuck that pelvis into a posterior tilt, nice neutral spine. And you're going to lift your knees up off the floor. So the goal here for level 3 is 30 seconds. If you can go longer, upwards of 60 seconds, fantastic. If you can't and need to come down and rest, that's okay too. but let's try to get towards 30 seconds. So lifting up the knees, and then just holding that. So it's a static hold or an isometric hold, and just making sure that when you are here, you're not sitting too far back, you don't shift too far forward, you're staying pretty center, knees under hips, hands under shoulders, elbow pits are facing forward, so you're nice and strong through those shoulders, pelvis is staying tucked back nice and flat, bracing that belly button in your core, and then at that 30-second mark, coming down and resting. All right, so for level 3, we're gonna get into those calves. We're gonna do 3 different positions now, just making it a little bit harder. So I want you to start neutral. So toes are facing 12 o'clock. And again here, no rocking as you come down, or slow, controlled movements. So coming up onto the balls of the toes as high as you can. Coming down, still keeping the weight in the forefront of your foot. Back up. So you're gonna do 10 in this position here. Nice and controlled. Try to keep it even to both feet. Once you've completed those 10 there, second position is externally rotating those feet. So turning those toes outwards, so your heels are coming together. So now in this position, going up into your calf raise. So coming up onto those toes, nice and controlled back down. So same thing here, you can do 10 in this position. And then after you've completed those 10, the third and last position is an internal rotation. So now you're trying to turn those knees together and get those big toes as close as you can. Right, so this one does feel a little awkward, but it's so good for those calves and to also challenge your balance a little bit. So here again, coming up as high as you can on those tippy toes, and then nice and controlled back down. Up and down. Really fight for that balance. So good for your ankles. Waking up all those little stabilizers in the feet. And again here you can do 10 repetitions. And carry on. All right, so last exercise is our plank push-up. So if you're ready and you feel like you're strong enough to go into a long levered plank position, then you can join me here. If not, go back to level 2 and do the modified version. So you're gonna come into a plank position here, keeping that back nice and strong, nice and flat. Hands are directly underneath those shoulders. And then you're gonna come down onto your forearms, and then pushing up through your hands. You're alternating hands each time you press up. Really bracing that belly button as you go, staying nice and strong and avoiding any rotation if you can. Doing 5 per arm, 10 total. All right, awesome job in today's workout. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you selected the appropriate level for you today and that you're feeling good, you're feeling strong, and that you're ready for your day.